Baruch Dayan Hamed, we praise the Judge of Truth. Begin with Psalm 121. Esai enai el haharim me'ayin yabo Ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai oseh shamayim va'aretz. Al yitein lamot raglecha, al yanum shomrecha. Hine lo yanum velo yishan shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilcha al yad yaminecha. Yomam hashemesh lo yakaka v'yarech balayla. Adonai yishmarcha mikol ra yishmoret nafshecha. Adonai yishmar tzecha v'wecha me'ata va'ad olam. I lift up mine eyes unto the mountains, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way, your protector will not slumber. See, the protector of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. The Lord is thy guardian, he is your protection at your right hand. The sun will not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will guard you from all harm, he will guard your soul, your going and your coming, now and forever. Amen. And together let us recite the 23rd Psalm together. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. G-H-N-I, Genie? Janai. All right, so 50-50 chance. So Janai. Janai has written some things, which I will share in a moment. Do either of the other caseworkers want to say anything? Okay. So we gather today. It's relatively cold. To recall with love and affection your dear Bobby, Bertie, Riemer. Which one is it?
Riemer.
With the German E and I and E, Riemer. In some ways, we're like that old popular film, The March of the Penguins. If you remember that from 2005. And those penguins outside in the winter, they endure minus 80-degree temperatures, and they endure winds of sometimes up to 100 miles an hour. And the way they survive is huddling together and creating a collective warmth. If only humans could do the same, we would be better at surviving and thriving. Create a collective warmth even in the shadow and the cold of your loss. The passing of your dear cousin and relative and friend, Bertie. That's what we should do, create a collective warmth. Bertie was the only child of Donald and Minnie. She was born October 18th.
Ronald.
What?
It's Ronald.
Ronald, not Donald?
Ronald.
Oh, okay, well, let's go with Ronald then.
Okay.
That's a typo. I apologize, but it's going to be the same typo throughout the whole eulogy.
Okay.
The only child of Ronald and Minnie. She was born October 18th, 1949. Her father, Ronald, was a laborer. He was good with his hands, and he always had a camera with him. He was in the 101st Airborne during World War II. Took many, many pictures. Her mother, Minnie, was a homemaker. They grew up in Mayfield Heights. She was very close with Roberta, Bobby, Bertie. She was very close with her. She made arrangements many years ago for her to live in Canton. She rented a house. She was living on her own for years. When she was younger, when she was about 10, 11 years old, her parents sent her to live at Apple Creek facility down near Massillon, a place for kids with developmental problems. And about 20 years ago, she was not able to live on her own anymore. So we have some recollections and memories from Janie, her caseworker at Stark County. I'd like to share some of these lovely reminiscences. I've had the pleasure of knowing Bertie, Bobby, for the last 2.5 years. And when I met Bertie, she was retired and enjoying spending time at home with her cat. A lot of cats on the tie. Right? She worked at Midwest Day Sites. What is that? What's Midwest Day Sites?
It's a company, and it's a day site. Like, it's just where she spent time.
Okay.
Yeah, working on different things.
From 2014 up to 2022, when she fractured her ankle. Bertie would often tell me stories of all. She would tell me stories of all the people she met and she formed relationships with through her years. She was a very spirited woman who made friends and family out of those people who were her support system. Everyone who cared for her went above and beyond to see her smile and to hear her laugh. Although I didn't know her during her past, she would tell me stories from her younger days, when she would clear house, as she called it. What does that mean, clear house?
You would have to know Bertie to know. But
Right, well, you know Bertie, so what does clear house mean?
The stories that she used to say, just to tell me, I don't know, she was a rambunctious girl.
She was, so they pushed her, they cleared her out of the house,
No,
or she
she
cleared
cleared
everybody else out of the
everybody
house?
else.
All right, well, that's, it's a difference there. Well, she would clear house, as she called it. I'm glad to say that Bertie put a lot of work into turning herself around. We had constant talks about how she was doing and how we could work on her mental and physical health. She always wanted to work on improving both of those, her mental health and her physical health. She enjoyed going on trips. In the past couple years, her supports would make sure she went on as many vacations as possible despite her declining health. She went to Kennywood. She went to Ogilvy. She went to Put-in Bay. It was my biggest regret that we couldn't get her to Disney World one last time. How many times did she go to Disney World?
I think she said 2 or 3.
Yeah? Nice. We were planning it for the spring, but it didn't happen. Without a doubt, Bertie Girl has left an impact on all the lives she showed up in. Yep, she was really something. And for any of us who have worked in these kinds of helping professions, you pass through a life with somebody, you're a child care worker for somebody, you're a case worker for somebody, and they're always just like, you remember stories, and it's like, you just have to smile and just sit back and laugh. So it's like, hey, we all go through stuff. And even whatever the difficulties you have in life, there's usually some 1 or 2 or maybe even 10 things that you just smile about. Clearing house is pretty hilarious. Very nice. Well, maybe you guys go to Disney World for her sometime. Take a picture of her with you. Wait in line, go on a ride for her. So on Thursday, December 28th, Bertie breathed her last, and now she's at peace. There's just rest and wholeness and peace for her right now. This is Just like the Sabbath day is a time of rest, so too for Bertie it's a time of rest. Her soul is returning to God and to be with the souls of her dear relatives and the ancestors of our people. We learn this in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 7. The dust returns to the earth as it was, and the spirit returns to God who gave it. So we place the remains, the body in the ground, and her spirit is returning to God. God will take care of her soul. We believe this is a time called Olam Haba, the world to come. It's not a place, it's a spiritual existence where her soul will dwell. And when each of us goes, we'll be together with our loved ones in this time called Olam Haba. We're sending along a little child's Torah scroll and a little Haggadah with her in the casket, because not only is it a mitzvah, a religious obligation to escort the body of a loved one to its final resting place, but also to respectfully bury holy books and ritual objects of our tradition and our heritage. We're sending along a Haggadah in particular because Passover is a time when we recall our ancient liberation from Egyptian bondage, from Egyptian slavery. We are free now because God redeemed our ancestors thousands of years ago. And because of that deliverance, we are free today. And Bertie now is free and liberated from any sort of deterioration, any sort of pain, or any sort of suffering. You have many, many memories of her, and we give thanks to God for this gift of life. 54 years, right? 74 years.
74.
It's very, very difficult. Because you would have hoped for more. And so we thank God for this gift of life. And as you think of her, if you know somebody who's got a cat, maybe you should spend a little bit of time with the cat. What happened to her cats? One or two?
One of her staff took them.
Oh, really? How many cats?
I think it was maybe one.
One? Okay. Well, I hope that this staff person takes good care of her cat. If you're allergic to cats, get another pet. We're allergic to cats. Can't do that. Maybe go on a trip. Ogilvy's not too far away. It's only about 2.5 hours away. Maybe go to Ogilvy or Kennywood or even Dollywood. Never been there either. And let us think of her and let us try to live our lives to make her proud of how we live. And let us remember her. And let us conclude with words from the first chapter of the book of Job. Adonai Natan, Adonai Nakach, Yishem Adonai Muvarach. The Lord hath given, the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. May God, who causes peace to reign on the high heavens, cause peace to rain down upon us, upon all Israel, and upon the soul of our dearly departed Bertie Riemer. Let us say Amen.
Amen.
Please let us rise for the El Malei Rachamim prayer. Into your care, O God, we entrust the spirit of our dear Bertie, For you keep faith with your children in death as in life. Sustain us that we may meet with serenity the mysteries that lie ahead, knowing that when we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you, O God, are with us, a loving friend in whom we put our trust. You are the light of our life, our hope in eternity. El Maleh Rachamim, Shochen Bamromin, Hametzeh Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Hashchina, Im Kedoshim U'Tohorim, Kezohar Harakia Masirim, that Nishmat Racholea, Shalach Olama Ba'al Harachamim Yasli Reha B'Sei Tekenafav Le'olamim Vayitzror B'Tzror HaChayim Et Nishmata Adonai Hu Nachalata V'Tanuach B'Shalom Al Mishkava V'nomar Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to our dear Birdie, our dear Rachelea. She has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in the shadow of your wings, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace, and let us say,
Amen.
Amen. And while we are standing, let us recite the Kaddish prayer for Birdie, her loving memory. Yitgadav Yitkadash Shmei Rabbah, Ba'alamad Yivrach Hirutei V'yamalech Malchutei, B'chayechon V'ron Mechon V'chayechon Beit Yisrael, B'agadav Yizman Kariv Yimeru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Le'olam Olamei Almaya, Yitbarach V'yishtabav Yitpar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shmei V'kusha B'richu, Le'elam Yinkol Birchatam Shirata, Tishbachata V'nachamata, Ta'amiran Ba'alamam Yimeru Amen. Yehi Shlam Rabbah V'yishmaya, V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, Yimeru Amen. Oseh Shalom Yimerumav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, Yimeru Amen. May God grant peace to those who mourn and comfort all who are bereaved among us. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
Excuse me. Now we're going to place earth upon the casket as we escort her body to its final resting place. And any family members and then anybody else who wishes to may also engage in this mitzvah. Lech kishilacha Adonai. Go your way, for God has called you. Lech Adonai Ya'imach. Go your way, and may the Lord be with you. May your righteousness go before you, and may the glory of God receive you. Anybody and everyone else who wishes to may do this. We're helping to escort her body to its final resting place. Would everyone here please repeat these words after me? We'll be speaking these words to one another. May God console you.
May God console you
With all who mourn.
with all who mourn
In Zion and Jerusalem.
in Zion and Jerusalem.
Hamakom yinachem etchem b'tok shavei Etzion v'Yerushalayim. And now let us go forth in peace to life. And remember Birdie lovingly and often. this concludes our service here at the cemetery. We'll recite Kaddish for her for the next month, every Friday night at 7:30 service, Sunday mornings when the kids have religious school, Wednesday afternoons when the kids have Hebrew school. We've sent Kaddish for Bertie, and it'll be our privilege to do so.